recording. I'm gonna scoot over slightly so I can get in the frame. It's going. I am a guy from a place. Charm City Bipper. Marquis is the name that my mama gave me on a beautiful day in March. I am here with Mama T, an educator, a founding member of City Neighbors Charter School, a big stepper in a lot of ways, breast cancer survivor, yogi, mother, community leader, activist. So many things that she doesn't call herself because you're not supposed to call yourself when you do these things. Other people are supposed to do it. Other people are supposed to have the pride for you and the love and appreciation for you. And I'm here today to speak about some things. I got a lot more things I could call this person because they're so awesome and loving and caring. Mama T.
Wow, thank you, thank you. That's a very humbling introduction. I just show up the way I show up and the way God moves me. Um, I fell into a lot of opportunities, and when asked to help, I help. When asked to speak up, I speak up. So, sometimes your path is laid out for you. It's not necessarily something you plan.
Mm. I'm big on that. And I laugh because the last day I had was confirmation of that. It's not always planned, and 3 years of no planning. Like, I didn't plan lessons until like the end. I had to start planning lessons, but I didn't plan any part of it. I was in a space where I was like, I don't want to do tech anymore, and I was doing entry level tech. I want to try to teach. I talked to somebody to say you could substitute teach, and I was like, oh, $100 a day. Didn't get to do that. It fell through. Then I got 7 interviews to get the job that I had in virtual Zoom. I'm meeting this lady who's talking about her yoga training in between our PDs and random meetings and Zoom. Don't really know you that well, but I could see that you cared and you had a genuine investment in the space that was created. And when I came in person, it was like, okay, I'm filling the space out. It's black faces. So I got Mr. Jerome Manning, Mr. I'm telling you now. I got Miss Rice in the cafeteria. Like, excuse me, you don't touch that. I was like, yes, you're right. And I had to bow to that. And then Miss Tranisa was in the space where it was like, I do this restorative practices, and I think that there's another way to approach these kids. I'm like, restorative practices? What is that? Restore? These are evil individuals? And it just was so many different things that I learned about you, learned about myself. You are the reason that I'm a yogi in a lot of ways, in all of the ways. And it was just powerful for people to see things in you that you don't see in yourself. So I'm giving that back to you as much as I can because you gave that to me, you give that to others.
And that is amazing because the way I came about yoga was to heal from my breast cancer. And Chankabell is like a loving dear friend that, was guiding me to the light. And I just saw something in you. Me and you didn't interact a lot. We were just coming in person. Didn't know you personally, but I just saw something in you that was the goal. Black Male Yoga Initiative is essence of having the ability to put the power back in the black male hands and have him heal. And it's so much trauma, so much tearing of men down in particular that I just saw that light in you that I wanted you to learn this tool that you could grow from. And when I took it, like, everybody thinks of the asanas, and we've talked about that. That is just such a small part of it, like really understanding your mind, your body, your breath, your body's healing potential, how to tune in. And even when you know all those things, sometimes you may need somebody to remind you of the tools that you got.
And that's the community. That's the community piece that I speak on so much as of late because you know what I've gone through this journey. And it's like every time something ends, something new presents itself, but every new thing presenting itself is deeper in a way where I'm like, how do I? But it's like, no, not how do I, how do we?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like calling on different people, having to be reminded of what I'm becoming, reminded of who I am along the way has been so important for me because as a black man, it's not a lot of spaces where you have the opportunity to be vulnerable and people steward your vulnerability. I love that word as of late. I got just so many people in my community right now that I value, and I often talk to my aunt about this phrase, but it's like there's the family that God designed for you, which is the one you're born into, and there's the family that you find along the way. And I'm having such a beautiful family in both spaces. So it's so, and you know I can go on for hours. That's why I'm loquacious. I don't know who said it, but you got to get on this podcast so I can use my loquaciousness with you. Thank you for the
Yeah,
word.
because our signal what?
Lord.
Sometimes you got to give people just enough because sometimes you give them too much and they get overwhelmed and they stop really listening. So knowing the art of when to speak on a thing and when to put that thing in your pocket so that it hits them at the right moment.
No, this is the funny part. This space is perfect for loquaciousness because I gotta have hours and hours of content because that's all. Like people be like, oh, some people value volume in this type of thing. They're like, oh, that artist had 1,000 songs, and some like it was probably a batting average of 30%. But 30% is much better than the opposite, where it's like you got a low volume and you might have had a couple hits. But I I want to get back to the early days of yoga. I was dodging yoga like the plague. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why. And I think that's the power of a calling. Like not knowing that something is what it is and until you step into it. I get a voicemail, I get an email, I get a call and a message and then another call and a text from my mentor. And the whole time I'm scared for based on all my limiting beliefs and everything that I assumed it was. I didn't have a conception of what it looked like to show up to a space 3 times a week for 2 hours. Monday, Wednesday, from 5 to 7. Saturday from 9 to 10, or I think it was 9 to 10. Waking up at 9 o'clock on a Saturday, but it was so beautiful because every time I showed up, it was a gift to myself. And I'm in a space where I'm serving others.
Absolutely.
So to find a way to give yourself something and serve others, what is that?
I'm gonna tell you, I'm laughing because, you know, when you don't learn a lesson, you destined to repeat it. I had been exposed to yoga over and over again, and I had done some things, some postures, some flows, but never really paid attention. Never really understood the power. So, um, it was December, and I was transitioning from my chemo, getting ready to start radiation. And I said, Changa, I said, they keep telling me the yoga helped me. I said, I got this meditation thing. It's keeping me from this anxiety and panic of the way this medicine making me feel. So I'm doing good with that. I'm proud of that. I said, but they want me to move and my body hurt. And, you know, they feel like yoga will really help me with how I'm feeling. He said, I got you. Go onto my website, sign up. I got a practice to start in January. I was like, all right. He said, I got you. And even when I'm looking at it, right, I'm like, all right, what day do I want to do it? Monday or Wednesday? I think I'll do it Wednesday. Not knowing until I started that I was doing all them days.
3 days. 3 days from January to November.
I had no concept when I started it.
Yes.
I thought I was only going to pick the day that I need to show up. They had restorative, they had yin yoga, and then understanding the practice. So I'm like, all right, I need restorative. I'm gonna do the restorative days. And I'm thinking that's all. Next thing I know, I got this email with all these materials I need, all these books I need, and homework.
Everything you needed.
I was like, ooh, homework? I signed up for a college course I ain't know.
And it's one of the best that you'll ever get in this lifetime.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
And it really, every time society in their eyes modernizes, they really give up something. And probably to our detriment as citizens. Like we the microwave generation, we want everything fast. We want to heal fast. We want to eat fast. We want a fast car. We want everything fast. But yoga teaches you got to slow down and check on you, your mind, body, and spirit. All right. It's no fast way to do it. You can't say, I'm going to meditate in 5 seconds. Yeah. No.
I'm going to wait till I get home to do it. I'm going to wait till I get here. I got to put my special fit on.
And nothing is more humbling than when you have chaos going around you and you take that moment to meditate and get that second wind. Because I remember specifically a day, it was so much going on. I was all in my feelings, and I closed my office door. I sat in front of the window, easy pose, eyes closed, and meditated. I heard people come into my room, and they saw what I was doing, and they gave me a moment. And when I got up from that meditation, I was like, okay, I can do this. Like, it's real that just taking that moment for yourself can keep you from losing the essence of who you are, the way you want to show up in front of people. You got to take that moment to regroup, because you come out of yourself and then they got it on video, they got it on social media.
And we see what the out of yourself is still not an end. Sometimes you got to come out of yourself to get back, because I've been out of myself. But I pick up, there's so much life on the other side of your fears. I pick up all our talks about stillness. It was one more that was so pretty, but just sitting with the first one. There's so much on the other side of your fears. You just got a diagnosis. You have something that you don't understand and that doctors don't understand. That's the part that people don't sit with when we think about these diagnoses and these illnesses, these diseases, is that you are dealing with something that they don't have a clear-cut answer for you. So it requires spiritual foundation more than anything. And that was what you were gifted, a spiritual foundation, but you already had it, but it's deepening that spiritual connection.
But the thing about it is everybody's diagnosis is different. There are so many different levels to it. And I actually had a pretty dramatic level, because mine, my breast cancer was triple negative, which meant I wouldn't respond to medicines. So I had to go through chemo and radiation in order to kill the cells that were trying to grow in my body. I never had anybody in my direct circle that had breast cancer. No family member. We've had pancreatic cancer, and pancreatic cancer, for those that don't know, really takes you quickly because it's hard to diagnose. And once it's diagnosed, it's normally aggressive. So that happened to both my grandparents. And so when I thought of cancer, I thought of my grandparents, of course, because that was the only reference I had. But the way people deal with the unknown, the way people deal with tragedy is often they put on a mask. Because my breast surgeon, me and her, we talk like we buddies for forever, because she couldn't believe my reaction when she first told me. So I was like, oh, okay, I got this breast cancer thing. All right, well, can we wait? Because I'm getting ready to go on a trip to Costa Rica. Can we do it around like the surgery around November? She was like, huh? This was September, like the beginning of September. She like, huh? But what happens is my best friend was there, and it was her birthday trip we were going on. She looked at me. She said, are you kidding right now? I was like, no, I mean, I'm going to have the surgery. What's the difference in a couple of weeks? She said, it's my birthday, and I'd rather have my friend for many more birthdays than for you to put off this procedure and start your healing.
And that's family.
I was like, oh, yes. Dang, you put it that way. And then we had this whole joke. You can't see now, my breasts are smaller now. I had extremely large breasts, and I had always wanted to get a breast reduction. So in all my diagnosis, all the tests they took, they kept talking about how hard it was to find because my breast was so big. Oh, it's in a hard area. It was something I would never have been able to do with a breast exam. It was at the back center of my breast against my chest. I would have never been able to find that with a breast exam. Do I do breast exam? Not religiously. And even now, it's still hard for me to do breast exam because my breast tissue aren't normal because of the radiation and the procedures. So when I was joking with my breast surgeon, I was like, shoot. She said, well, we're going to have to take a little extra around the mass and, take some extra tissue. I said, I got plenty. Help yourself. She said, well, we can do a breast reduction while we in there. I said, for real? I've been scared to do that. Win-win. There you go. There go my silver lining. So you're looking for and you're searching for the message in a bad situation. You're looking for and you're searching for the sunshine and the rain. So I kept telling people that was my silver lining. And I'm gonna get personal with y'all. I was so happy when I was able to go braless because mine, they was heavy. They took 7 pounds off.
They need some support. They needed support. So
they took 7 pounds off of my chest. Them suckers was heavy. For every girl that want hers bigger, knock yourself out. For every boy that think it's easy to have these big tatas, put them on for a minute. Them things was heavy.
Soda puppies. But I love that you shared that because that is the light that I'm constantly trying to let people know about. That in every dark moment, there's a little light over there in that corner. You just keep looking in that dark space like, I don't like how that looks. It looks scary. It's too tall. It's so menacing. And you turn around like, oh, I can leave out that door and I can go do something else. I'm gonna let you stay in that room for a little bit, and I'm gonna do other stuff in the house and make other parts of the house pretty. And eventually, the other parts of this house will be so pretty that you don't even want to be in here. And it's like that's what the karma of the yoga is as well. So we talk a lot about how asanas are the light. I like because asanas are light work. You see these people doing these complex poses, but that's light work. That's not the complicated part. The complicated part is getting off that mat and embodying the truth of what you left with. So if I get off the mat and I'm like, I don't want to talk to Miss Shanisa. What I gotta tell her anything for? Why would I go to her yoga program? No, I'm gonna start my own yoga and I'm gonna do a business. I make $100,000 off the yoga. Yeah, and I'm a like no. It's all this I. Where do all this I come from when the reason I'm even doing it is because of the people who were in my life? Where does all this I come from when part of the reason you didn't go to Costa Rica part of the reason you lean heavily into your treatment is because of the people around you. You spoke on a friend who said, no, that trip don't matter. You spoke on a friend who said, come to my yoga classes. He didn't say, come to a couple classes so I can get this bread off of you and look a certain way because I helped somebody with breast cancer. He said, come to my teacher training. Study this thing that I have gained so many benefits in my life from for 10 months with me.
Now I gotta stop you there. He tricked me into coming.
Trick or not, you were treated. Trick or not, you were treated.
You know, but that's where we talk about fear, right?
Yes.
Because I, being a heavy Black woman, I was intimidated by asanas,
and
right?
a lot of
and people are. Now I see it being normalized, but I was intimidated by my size, by my age, and so I never thought of it as teacher training. Because had he presented it to me like that,
I wouldn't have done it.
I would not have done
it.
And
this is why y'all not ready for it, but I'm ready to trick y'all into seeing how fly yoga finna be, right? Add some pimp principle. Nah, I ain't gonna ready. But you gotta put some sugar in that poison. Not poison, but you gotta put some sugar in the medicine. Because sometimes medicine tastes like poison. And poison tastes beautiful. Poison tastes so delicious. And we don't know it's poison until we on the ground throwing up.
I think you need to know what a person needs. Or have some kind of connection to be able to present certain things to him. So Changa knew my struggle without me saying it. And he didn't know to what degree until I voiced it. Because at one point I voiced that, you know, my size, my age, I still had a port in my chest, all these things that I overthink. A lot of times we overthink and talk ourselves out of stuff. And that thing you talking yourself out of may be a life changer.
So would you say lean not unto thine own
understanding?
Would you say you gotta lose yourself to find yourself, and that you can do all things through, and all would you
all of that
I want to make sure it's still recording, because that would be unfortunate, but we still got the mic. Let me get my tech guy. Is there anything else you want these individuals to know about your experience? Your experience as a yogi?
It's beautiful when you. It's a power cord right there. It's beautiful when you want to teach others, but to be trained in it, that doesn't have to be your end goal. To be trained as a yogi can just be for your understanding and for your practice and for your benefit. And then you have the opportunity to share out. Because I really have not been teaching. I've been guiding. I guide with my meditation. I guide with this insight that it's given me. Again, you know, sometimes you get in your own way. I allow things to get my way from my teaching. And so that's my next journey. That's going to come back to me. But I really am strong in my meditation and my breath work. And I use it often. I use it often with others, but I use it every day with myself. Yeah.
One thing I would like to sit with is, I was like, why are you not teaching at first? And now that I'm teaching, I'm recognizing I don't really want to do that part that much, because the practice is energizing me to do this that's in front of you. The practice is energizing me to travel and to leave certain things behind and close books. And the practice is giving me the discipline to be up and active. The practice is Charm City Bipper. I wouldn't have had that conception without going through the training. So it was like a lot of that poem that I wrote. And when I say the rebirth of an artist, the practice brought my artist back, because I've been able to reconnect with my creativity from the truth of it, not from like the part where it's like, oh, it'd be cool if people thought this of me because of what I do. Now it's like, it'd be cool because I love to do this part. And like committing it to memory isn't this chore anymore. It's like, these are my words. These are words not only given to me, but that I'm able to hold and express in a true way. So I think what's funny is you are teaching and not knowing it. You are still teaching. Because if y'all had seen the way I showed up this year, and for the people that tune in to know the way I showed up this year, if I did not have this rock in my corner and as my foundation, I would have had a lot of moments where I was put out or worse. And I say that from a place of love for who you are, and even stepping into the office. Did you think about God, think about other people, think about think about. Sometimes you need to bounce your ideas off of somebody else. And we don't always know when our ego is first place. We don't always know when this is done from, oh, me. Because I laugh at like the spiritual folk who just like, all of this is from God. Everything I do, me having 3 wives is from God. I'm like, brother, some of them is just you wanting to say you got 3 wives. Like, don't put that on, Jesus. Don't put that on.
And that is actually scary. And I've told a couple people that I felt like God wanted me to tell them something because it was not a concept that I thought about. It's like I opened my mouth, like my breath, it just came out. And then like fear came over me. Like, I hope I'm not misrepresenting God. I don't play with God like that. But I know that I didn't feel a need to tell you these things. These things came to me from looking at your spirit, and this message came upon me to share. And so that intuitiveness can be scary when it's not trained. But I open up to it with those that are close in my circle because I want to help. I want to heal. And that's just my nature. And so if I can see a guiding force, I'm going to share it with you. I'm not going to sit back and watch you be a train wreck and run into that wall when that wall not going to move. I'm going to add perspective. I'm going to give you some things to think about. And then you still, God gives you choice.
Absolutely. Still God gives you choice. Because I didn't do everything that she said the way that she would have preferred it to be done. But on the other end, we still can smile because you did it from a place of love. See, if you did it from a place of controlling, if you did it from a place of ego, so that's really the telltale sign. And I won't say whether or not it's from God, but if it's coming from a genuine place or a place that's righteous, it doesn't have that back end of like, well, why would he leave the school? Because some people will feel that. Like, I built you. Like, some people literally like, I built you up to be the person you was. You know, David Ruffin. I'm here to see you, Otis. Ain't nobody here to see you, Marquis. So, just to sit with intentionality, sit with purpose, sit with the awareness of why we do the things that we do. That all starts from the mat. It all comes back to the gifts we give ourselves. I'm continuously saying what you give yourself is what others give you. So even when you're sitting in that space in the office, nobody's going to give you patience if you weren't giving it to yourself. And then some people attest it like, is he serious? I'll say this. The other day, I had a meditation with the kids at the community center. And like they just thought it was so cheesy. One of them farted. One of them was like making faces. So I was like, I'm not gonna fight these kids because I actually need to meditate. So I just posted up on the wall because it's fun to meditate against the wall. You don't got to hold your back up and all that. So I'm leaning on the wall. I do my mudra and I'm just sitting there breathing. But my eyes sit so low that people don't think I can see when they're this low. My eyes are closed. So the room is slightly dark and I got my eyes set really low on my daredevil. Like I'm looking through these eyelashes. They don't know I am. So one of them does a Dragon Ball Z move. One of them gets up and break dances. Another one, like it's about 3 of them. I can recognize each one of them. They're doing these moves, making the faces, going hard. So about like 3 minutes in, I got what I needed, and I just start saying, "Yeah, and such, I saw you do the Kamehameha, and I saw you stand up after him and follow him. I didn't know we had a room full of followers. I didn't know that's how we get down. I didn't do that." I said, "Yes, you did. I saw you. You think I see? How do you know?" So they just like, he's a ninja or something. So it's like, with the kids, and back to what you're saying and calling people in, I'm constantly thinking of like, how can I make this cool? How does the young me want to come follow yoga? Like, I get the guys with the handstands. I did a one hand handstand. It was like, no way. Or I do the pistol squat. So I'm coming down on one leg. That move. They try to follow me. They fall out. This ain't fair. And then there's a couple that can follow me, a couple that can't, and then some that stay close or go further. But it's fun to iron sharpen iron. Like, it's fun to be able to practice my skills that I'm leveling up to, and see them find love and joy for it in the ways that I intend.
But that goes back to finding a connection. That goes back to find a connection. You got to find a connection to reel them in and let them feel the purpose, right? And again, I have been introduced to yoga. I had a good girlfriend that was practicing. She didn't train, but she always wanted to go to class and would send me articles. I was doing an aftercare program with a young lady, awesome lady. We loved each other deeply. And she would come in and teach the kids yoga. That was my girl, Nalaja. That was my girl. We would just hug, and the energy that we would feel from each other in a hug.
Genuine and real.
It was like, she was like, "You give the best hugs." I was like, "You got the best energy." And I mean, we would stand there for at least 2-3 minutes just hugging. Do you know the power of a hug?
It lets a lot go. A lot.
Do you know the power of a hug?
You can take on bad energy, but
especially, I was getting ready to say, especially with people that got good energy, it's like water. Nurturing your body, right? Like a good hug from a caring, nurturing energy. It's just magical.
Lady, that's why them brothers be complaining you ain't give him no hug in high school. he need a hug to downgrade after he got hopped off at that Arizona iced tea and that bag of hot Cheetos in the morning. He need a hug to let it go, y'all. Get that brother a hug. Give him a side hug or something.
All he need is a side hug because he trying to catch a feel. Let's just call a spade a spade. He just need a side hug.
I ain't speaking for them brothers. I do not represent that group of fellas. But no, that is so powerful. And even coming back to connection, the fact that my guru is from Northeast Baltimore, was running the same streets I'm running years prior, was running away from it the way that I ran away from. Like, I don't know what this is. What's this? And has a hip hop background, is bringing up like Black culture within the process of learning it. I think that's also what's going to call a lot of our community in as well. Finding ways to connect our culture to this, because a lot of our culture has some basis in what yogic principles are. And I immediately connected to non-judgment because it put a clear lens on what my life had been. I was not only judging others, I was judging myself to a point that was unstable. Like, I'm doing good work and still judging myself for why I'm doing a good work. Like, oh, you doing this to get something. And I'm like literally playing with the ideas that other people could have because I'm so analytical. Like,
yes, you are.
Overly analytical to the point of like inaction. So to be able to put skill in action, yoga skill in action. To be able to put skill in action, and release judgment of myself within the first month, but recognize that it's a continual process. So I'm not saying that I'm never judging again. I still judge. I'm very judgy still. But it's like being aware of what I'm judging and the intentionality behind the judgment is now something that I'm extremely grateful for. Trust, patience, letting go, acceptance, beginner's mind, non-striving, non-judgment. I think I got them. I always name them weird.
I think the thing that you've grown from is recognizing those things. So we all do those things and don't know or acknowledge that we're doing them to ourselves or to others, right? Somebody walk in the room and I sat with this. I had a conversation with somebody about this. It is a pet peeve of mine, and it has been about young men with saggy pants. And it has always, always bothered me, even before I knew the meaning behind it, but even more so once I knew the meaning behind it and I try to share that with them. But society has them in a way that if it's cool with society, I don't care what you old lady think it mean, right? So goes back to the following. The young man that was following when they thought you had your eyes closed. So many ways we got our eyes closed following what somebody says is the thing to do.
And stepping into the yoga, that was something I was conscious of. Like, am I following this because he's saying it? Is this about him? Am I connecting the message too heavily to the person that's giving it? Because that's a part of why society is struggling. We connect messages so heavily to a person that we like, oh, I only go to Muslim churches. I only go to mosques. I only go to Christian churches. I don't follow any Islamic thought. And you won't sit to take time to recognize where the power in Islam lies that reflects the power in Christianity, and the power in Christianity that reflects the power in Judaism or whatever else it may be. So when you limit your mind to what you believe in and only what you believe in, sometimes you don't even realize you're believing in the person. You're idolizing Jesus to the point where you won't acknowledge that other men have come into this space and into this realm and given cultures similar things to what Jesus gave yours. And I believe in Jesus. I believe in love. I believe in God. I believe that love is what we should be embodied. Oh, I come to shut. But I would like to see love embodied more than fear. Because like I said, on the other side of our fear, oftentimes is love. And you got to really use discernment, because sometimes your fears are correct. You may be getting into a situation that is unsafe.
Yes.
Like, do the research and don't overly commit to something new. Like, I still had to do my due diligence. I read the emails. I read the different things that were given to me. I listened to the voicemails. I talked to Miss Janisa a lot of times. I kept giving her the same line. I don't know if I can commit to this money. You know, like, just a lot of scary young black man talk. And as I sit, a year and like 2 months away from that day, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I've dealt with things since starting that training that I could not imagine myself dealing with. Things that I may have ran from, situations that I may not have spoke up for, I'm speaking up for. I'm standing up for others and for myself. And I started this podcast by saying me first. And that is to say, if you don't put yourself first in a way that is genuine and authentic, you will not show up for the people you love the way that you think you are. So as soon as I'm like, I'm so attached to how my family members doing, I hate to see this, I'm going to take the day off. I could have took this day off because everything we talked about in this conversation would not happen to give what I would like people to receive. Because that's what I started the year with. I want to find a way to build community and encourage people to find the benefits that I found in yoga. This conversation literally does that.
We're going to have to do a part 2 because we need to talk about how fear and money affect our decisions.
And it's limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Who's our girl? Shout out to Louise. Hey, who making sure I get paid every day. Not one to play. But there's a lot, and even the literature is books I would not read if I did not do the practice. You know, like reading the Revelations of Christ by Kriyananda influenced the person who wrote it, but I'm fudging that. But either way, just thinking about the things that I'm now open to doing. That's the part
That's
that
the
I
key.
love. The things I'm open to doing.
That's the key, being open, fighting against your ego, and fighting against judgment, those will bring about change.
And remember, y'all gotta let that ego protect you too, because there's some people that's going to try to do you dirty. Like people did, people tried to come with some salt, but I'm like that. So it's like it is what it is.
That's discernment.
That's discernment. Absolutely.
That's discernment, because
thank you to God.
Discernment tells you it's not my ego. This is what I'm worth.
Yes.
And you, as an individual or entity, are trying to devalue me. So we getting ready to go on a whole nother podcast there.
Yeah, look, we gonna cut it because y'all gonna have to kick out some dough for the but eternally grateful, because I like the way it's saying it. I'm eternally grateful. I'm appreciative. I'm just so loved, and I'm glad to be. And I thank you.
You're welcome.
For this journey. I thank you for being a part of this journey and for showing up. And I thank you for when you don't show up, because I got to go find the things I got to find. And then I got to check on you. So as I tell y'all all the time, one day made better is many days made greater. I'm uplifting you to be in a world that cares. If I keep it to myself, I think that's unfair. The joy I've been given is best when shared. Visionaries never die, legends survive. Through the seeds we sow daily, we get better with time. I'm a guy from a place. Charm City Bipper, Quis The Vndl. Marquis is the name my mama gave me. And this is
Mama T. Peace, y'all.
Go enjoy the world.
Thank you.
We gotta flip the cards.
Yes, all of that. All of that.
This is what I plucked while we was talking.
All of that.
I enjoy doing things that fuel me. It feels great to do things for myself when I make sure I'm taken care of. I can better show up for those in my life and the work that I do. Inspiration. There's an inspiration board. If I'm ever feeling down or bored, I spend time creating a vision board to place in my home. I feel it with quotes, pictures, and desires that bring me inspiration and joy. Loving friends.
Absolutely.
I surround myself with people who inspire me and grow together with me. My friends raise me up and hold me to the best that I can be. I am loved unconditionally and supported throughout my journey. I release old friendships which may be toxic or keep me stagnant. Gratitude. My word.
Yes.
You read that one.
Gratitude. I love acknowledging all the little things I am grateful for. No matter what I have going on, I always have things to be thankful for. Amen. Whenever I am feeling upset, I can fill up a page with the things I appreciate. This begins to shift my mood and focus on to that which brings me joy. That's so powerful.
Bang, 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 bang. Go have a day.
I had to get your number. I had to get your number. I had to get your number. Don't talk to me.